Hey, beautiful people, beautiful people. I want to talk to you today about the connections again between your love life and your business life. Today we're going to talk about boundaries, always a hot topic, and how your approach to boundaries, your response to boundaries as well, actually, which is not something that gets talked about as much as you asserting your own boundaries. We don't seem to have as many conversations about how you actually respond to the boundaries of others and how that affects you in your love life and your business. So if you you can just say hi if you've never been to one of my lives before. I'd love to hear from you. And obviously, if you are an old timer, an OG, sorry, old timer sounds like old person, you can just put OG in the comments. So I'm Jay Diamond. I help purpose-driven women 35 plus to clear deep energetic love blocks so that they can ignite their female power, triple their confidence, and attract and keep their soulmate. We're talking about soulmate clients at the moment. And there's so many parallels between how you approach love, how you approach dating, even how you approach sex and your experience of that, where you will and won't speak. Your response to different circumstances absolutely carries itself over into your heart-led business. So a lot of the women that I work with, because they're purpose-driven women, have their own heart-led businesses. And so what I've found over and over and over again is that when we unlock the heart to more love and the barriers to love, those energetic love blocks in the women that I work with, and we can shift their mindset with regard to relationship, what's happened over and over and over again is that it's transformed their business. They've increased money, they've had more clients, houses on the market that wouldn't sell have sold within weeks, and lots more. Money's come back to them. And this is because of opening the flow to receiving. This is because of the willingness to go deeper into intimacy in themselves, is opening the way for their next level inside of their business, inside of their life, and that they're able to live inside of, feel worthy of, and hold a life that they love. So with regards to boundaries, there's often parallels between how you do boundaries in love and dating and how you do boundaries in your business. So for some people, where they don't have boundaries with regards to relationships and dating, they're just allowing behavior that isn't very good for them. Maybe they get sucked into the sob story, like the sob story of the date or the husband, and there's never their fault, and there's always a drama or a crisis or something to explain the behavior and why they're doing what they're doing. And they allow that and take it on board and don't stand firmly rooted in their own power and say, hey, this isn't the standard of life that I want to live and it's not working for me. And this absolutely can transfer. Hi, darling. Hi, Verna. So lovely to see you. And it can absolutely transfer into their business. Whereas by the clients that they're attracting, instead of attracting those soulmate clients who really respect your work, respect your time, respect your boundaries. They always want more. They kind of give you the impression that nothing is enough, that they don't, they expect you to be on call whenever and to drop whatever it is that you're doing to attend to their, like this child, to attend to their current emergency. Say hello, Zia, then, seeing as you're so desperate to say hello. Mummy is working. Do you mind? So this can absolutely transfer into the business. Like if you're, every time this particular guy calls you that you like, and you think, oh my God, I need to see this guy, he's my favorite, then you'll drop what you're doing to accommodate the client's every whim. Now, if you're in a space where you're feeling anxious about getting clients, you're worried, it's coming towards the end of the month, bills are not getting paid, again, you'll make concessions, you'll bend over backwards, you'll do things that are outside of your normal containers with your clients, because you're afraid that if you say no, those clients may not come back, or that you might get a bad reputation, or that another client might not come. So this is where it really starts to parallel, where we don't believe and trust that there is an abundance of love across the board. Love is love is love is love. This relates into your relationship with soulmate clients. So instead of having your strong, hi Juliet, instead of having your strong boundary, hi Tamzin, around, what you will do, where you are available, where you're not available, how you work in your business, you can start to attract clients who don't give you a good vibe when you assert your boundaries. So some of this is an internal energetic job. In fact, most of this, the biggest part of it is an internal energetic piece where you, first of all, get clear on what you would like your boundaries to be, and the standard of which we hold our boundaries often relates to our own level of self-love and self-respect, and the belief that we have in abundance. This absolutely relates to the same as we have in business. So again, when we fear that this, when we fear the disapproval of a client, and that, oh my God, they might think I don't care, they might think if I say no to them, or I don't answer their message straight away, they might think that I don't care. I know that was definitely me in the past. They might, and in my relationships as well, right? Of course. And that they might, they might talk bad about me. They might say this, they might say that. And this is such a similar energy that we approach in our relationships. And sometimes we're so used to doing it that it's quite insidious in that we don't really catch it. Because here's the other thing, your boundaries might be fantastic in business, and you might say, well, I don't really have any boundaries issues in my business, but I do in relationships. And so perhaps these two things don't correlate at all. And for you, it might be true. But what I would invite you to look at as well is not just the boundaries that is with you, with just you and your client, but also with you and yourself. So, sorry, I'm just trying to do this for the bit there. Take this. So that might mean with regards to your client relationship and yourself, there's also the relationship between you and you. And do you honor your own boundaries? What does that mean? So I have clients who are very successful women, and they're doing a lot of great work, but they're crossing their own boundaries in terms of the amount of work that they're taking on, where they're not willing to say to a client, okay, I need to put you on a waiting list for 3 or 4 weeks. I'd love to do this piece of work for you. But so what they're doing is they're working themselves into the ground. And so again, what happens in their love life is they're afraid to say no. Through fear of rejection, through fear of loss, because that strong internal peace needs strengthening with regards to their own self-respect and their own boundary. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. I'm pretty sure that it is. And there's so many different places and spaces where this comes up. So sometimes we have to look at, am I respecting my own boundaries, and how does this show up in my love life? The other thing we can do is we're reactionary. So the other kind of side of the coin is we are, we think we're being empowered by putting the smack down. Oh, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with that. And actually what we're doing is we're overcompensating for our fear of being taken over. So if a guy texts back too late, if your husband speaks to you in the wrong tone, these kind of things, it's like this, you bring the smack down straight away, and the attitude is, I'm not taking any bullshit. I'm not taking any bullshit. Similarly, if that was even in a word. Similarly, if that, anyway, whatever. That is an energetic, you send out an energetic barrier with the energy of your clients. Now, I'll give you an example. So for me, with my coach, I remember having a conversation with her that what kind of transpired was that I was afraid of being, if I offered a particular services, so now I'm starting to experiment with like a 10-day Voxer one-to-one. So my one-to-one container is a high-level VIP container for women who are ready to go deep. Otherwise, I've got my group programs. And what I'm playing with is this 10-day Voxer one-to-one where we get to chat. And it's something new that I'm offering, and it's kind of like, it's a step in rather than paying the fee for 3 months. And what I noticed and having these conversations was like, well, what if they're trying to talk all day long every day, and they expect me to talk every day, and what if they do this and what if they do that? And I was going through all these scenarios in my head, and what I realized is that energetically I was blocking those clients coming in who would really benefit from that through my own fear of being overrun. Makes perfect sense. Sometimes FOMO, and other times, a fear of reaction to reinforcing a boundary. So in this instance, I was fearing my own boundary being overtaken, which isn't possible if I have strong boundaries, right? So I go into Voxer at least twice a day. If I've got the time and I've got the space, I'll go in more and we'll have a conversation. But that, I have to set the energetic premise that this is what I'm available for, and we won't be speaking all day long for 8 hours. That's not what the coaching arrangement is about. And if you think it's about that, it's not. And it's okay to stand in that boundary and say, hey, I'll be in there twice a day. And it was so simple. It was something as simple as that, as to say, I'll be in Voxer twice a day. The container's for 10 days. If you want to continue, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The end. Right? But we don't have any one-to-one calls. We're not speaking for an hour. We're not doing any energy clearings like we do in the 3-month container. You don't get any of the free programs like the 3-month container. This is what it is. But it was like until I'd put my stake in the ground and said, this is how it is, it created this sense of safety for me. So I was projecting all this fear. A client might do this, a client might do that. But really what it was is me getting into right relationship with my own boundaries. And so when you get into right relationship with your own boundaries, you become more available for romantic love, because then what if a man does this? What if he does this? What if he says that? What if it comes to sex and he's pestering me and blah, blah, blah. It's like, so ahead of time you make your decisions about, and in my programs we talk about this. Some of you have been them. Hi Sherry. You decide ahead of time, if this scenario comes up, if you notice that there's something that you're worrying about, this is how I'm going to handle it. You don't wait till it happens and then, what you do is you decide ahead of time, this is the boundary that I'm creating, this is how I'll handle it. And then we can take it from there, right? And also to know and to trust that as the competent woman that you are, whatever comes up, you'll be able to handle it. And it's not going to be the end of the world. You'll survive it. So let's say a client doesn't respect your boundaries or, does continue, you can terminate the relationship. Same as you would if you were dating someone, or you're in a relationship with your husband who is continually watching porn and it's affecting your sex life, or is spending all of the money and you don't have anything left at the end of the month. We all have a decision that we can make. Hey Emmanuel, we have a decision that we can make about how we choose to conduct our relationships. So can you see how, like, how these things really, really correlate. And sometimes it's not in the most obvious way. The other way to be mindful of about the relationship between boundaries and love and business is actually your reaction to other people's boundaries. So one of the biggest conversations that we tend to have, and certainly in the dating and relationship space, is what are your boundaries? What are you going to say? How are you going to handle your boundaries? But not as much is discussed about how you behave when other people assert their boundaries, because here's the kicker, and don't shoot the messenger. There are certainly some of us who, if a guy asserts his boundaries and says this, this doesn't work for me, or that behavior doesn't work for me, or I'm not feeling good about this, or I don't want to text you every morning and every night. I don't need to text you back within the hour because you want that. Doesn't mean I have to do it. Now, a lot of women in various groups, I see these messages and they're like pissed off. They're pissed off because a man has dared to assert his boundary and to be true to what time and space he's available for. And they want to impinge. They believe their needs are more important than this guy's boundaries. The way that this relates in terms of business is like, and life, is that when someone says to you, okay, this is the container, that we can do this work in, but it's not available for free. Or I can work with you on a Tuesday and a Thursday. These are my available days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you push, well, I want a Wednesday. I want a Monday and I need a Monday. Can you change everything for me for a Monday? And, the person says, no, I've only got Wednesdays and Thursdays. But, you put pressure and try and guilt trip them, or some other kind of means of manipulation. Perhaps you say, oh, well, maybe it won't work for me, or, I'll have to come out of the other programs, or whatever it is, because that person has set a boundary, and you get your knickers in a twist because they're having their boundaries. So like, with a virtual assistant, you might say, I want this kind of, or need this work doing. And she says, well, actually, I'm not at work till tomorrow. I'm not available until Wednesday. And then you get stroppy, and arsey with them because they're not dropping everything for you. This is the place where, and it's good to notice this. So if you can, sometimes it's hard to look at ourselves without judgment. So we don't allow ourselves to see where we might be creating situations that are unhelpful for us, essentially, because that person might not want to work with us anymore. It might create a bit of a funny atmosphere because you expect them to drop everything, a colleague or something like this, when they're not available to do that. Same, and it's the same in love. It's like, well, you're here to accommodate my needs. No, I'm not here to accommodate your needs. So when, it's really interesting to see your own relationship. And generally, when you have a bad relationship with no, a bad relationship with somebody else's no, often it reflects your own relationship to your own ability to say no and to say yes. So if, your coach or colleague, says to you, I'm not able to do that, and gives you an alternative, and you find yourself ruminating and saying, how could they? And I've done this for them, and I've done that for them, and like, they're just about the money and all this kind of stuff, because you expect them to overextend themselves for your benefit. So you call them selfish because they will not mitigate themselves for you. So who's really selfish, right? And we've probably all done this at some point. We've all done this at some point. We've been like, How could you not? How could you not? You should do this for me. Why? Because I want you to, and I think you should, and it will benefit me. Therefore, you should. So often this can reflect, again, your own ability or inability to say no. So on this kind of spiritual evolutional path with love, and even with business, when you get into right relationship with your yes and no, and you're feeling more comfortable with your boundaries, or you're practicing even though it's not comfortable, the more that you do that and you're in right relationship with yourself and you're not bypassing your own boundaries, the more that when somebody else says no to you, you can receive it without blaming or shaming or judging another person. And this is when negotiations can take place in a clean way. Same in relationship. If you can't hear somebody's no, or a partner can't hear you say no, and they're just saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do this, this is what we're doing, you're wrong if you don't do it. It doesn't make you want to do it, does it? It doesn't open you, it doesn't open your heart to try and find a solution that works for both of you. Whereas if I say to my assistant, Vita, who's fantastic, sometimes I'll give her loads of work at once, and then I won't give her anything for a while, and then loads of work at once. Sometimes she'll say, well, I've got my other work on, I can't do this till Wednesday. Is there anything? And then, if there's a negotiation, is there anything that's urgent? And then she might squeeze in the urgent piece, and the rest will wait till Wednesday or Thursday. But that negotiation in a clear way where both people win can only happen when you're able to hear somebody else say no without all this emotional charge and without blame. I don't want to say, does that make sense? What else can I say? Are we together on that? And it absolutely relates to relationship, our ability, to negotiate. And this is, of course, in the bedroom with the sex that we're having, the kind of sex that we have, the kind of sex that we want, how frequently we want it or don't want it. How, if we want date nights, the kind of date nights that we want, the intimacy that we want that's not sexual, the non-sexual touch, the connection that we're really desiring. All of this is so deeply rooted in our ability to say yes and no, and also to know, as in KNOW, to know our own standards of what, and be true to what we desire. So in the Living, Breathing Feminine program is alive at the moment, a lot of this is like, what's the next level for me? What's my true desired life? What are my true desires? Not just what society's told me I should do, but what do I actually want for myself? And to operate from that place. And so these absolute correlations between love, sex, and business, like it's just astoundingly obvious. It's just, I haven't been discussing it that much, but I think it's so interesting to see. And as we make these adjustments and we practice asserting our boundaries and allowing other people to have theirs, watch your relationship transform when you start to do this in your business. And similarly, as you invest in yourself in terms of relationship, that energy carries itself into your business, so that here's the thing, when your boundaries are solid and pristine and feel good to you, you're more available for your soulmate clients because you're not putting the blocker on. And it's the same with love. We put the blocker on when there's fear, when we think we're going to be rejected, when we're afraid to say no, and when we put other people's needs before our own. And, I'll say I've had a journey with that. It's been a journey for me, both in relationships. I never thought and it was not very obvious in the relationships to me till I had certain experiences. And then I could sort of see, there's this kind of thread where I'm putting other people's needs before my own. Now I know that. I can absolutely see where I've done that. I did that in business. And I would, because somebody had a question or a need, I would respond immediately and and I trained people to believe that they could kind of have me on tap for free coaching. Whereas, if I was, I don't know, maybe a business consultant, or if I was, let's say, a copywriter, if someone's paid their invoice or hasn't paid their invoice, we wouldn't send the work across, would we? Without the invoice being paid. Yet when it comes to kind of, some types of coaching and an emotional stuff, again, it's about being able to hear people's no's. Sometimes there can be a bit of a sense of entitlement. Sometimes, it's fine to ask questions. In my groups, I'm very generous, and in my one-to-one, I'm very generous. And, sometimes when I get the divine download that says, to share with somebody, then I do that. But it comes from a space of that it's coming through me, rather than a place of obligation or a place of fear of, well, what if this person disapproves of me now because I didn't give them what they wanted. And that was a very difficult thing actually for me, to start to work with that kind of boundary and be willing to meet the disapproval of someone else in order to maintain my own sense of value. It's like my value is not dependent on anything or anybody, but my own boundaries is probably just a better way. And, that has been a very slow progression for me. And what I have found is that my business has improved because of it, because a lot of it is your energetic signature goes before you. So if you want that next level soulmate client, she's also going to want you to be a stellar example for her or him in their life. And that means that you are good with your boundaries. And sometimes the best teaching we can get is someone holding their boundaries with love. You don't have to be arsed. And this is the other thing, again, when we're reactionary, when we're pushing our boundary from a place of fear, we're rude. Who do you think you are? Even if you're not saying it, it's coming across energetically. But you can just kind of state, I'm available for this, or I'm available on Tuesdays, or, whatever it is for you. You can state that without charge. If there is charge, if there's a feeling about that, then there's something for you to work on. Why do I feel uncomfortable about this? What's this bringing up for me? And often it's the fear of what the other person's going to say or think, rather than, how dare they? How dare they? Or, for whatever it is. Are we together on that? So I find it's just so fascinating that when you piece these things together, like the profound shifts and changes that it can make very quickly, actually, to your business by, unlocking these barriers to love in these various aspects. So I think that's enough for today. Hey, Nicola. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. There'll be lots more to come. I am holding a free 3-day masterclass actually called The Sweet Spot, which is love, sex and soulmate clients. It feels so juicy and so fun. And we're going to be spending 3 days going into this. Day 1 will be love, day 2 will be sex, day 3 will be soulmate clients. And we're going to start to unlock more of this for you so that you can enjoy money and love, and have the soulmate clients that you desire, this next level client. Because usually the next level client is it's different for everybody, but, the woman who you absolutely love working with, who wants to invest in herself, who trusts you, who is willing to kind of, go deep into a relationship with you, and is happy to sign up for that, whether it's a 6-week program that you offer or 10 weeks or as long for a year. But when we are with our soulmate clients, like, how much nicer does that feel? Like, I feel very blessed, and it's not luck, because I've done a lot of work on myself in order to attract so many soulmate clients. It's not luck at all. It's being intentional. And I attract the most incredible women into my programs. Clever, intelligent, fun, smart, witty, sexy, expansive, evolving women that I absolutely love to work with, that I like to show up for, that I would happily drink cocktails with somewhere fantastic on the planet, and this is one of the reasons why I enjoyed doing my retreats. When I used to hold retreats all across Europe, it was fantastic. I mean, retreats are a lot of work. You have no idea what goes into a retreat, but unless you've done one yourself, you'll know. The actual sharing of space with those women was always an absolute joy. Absolute joy. And I'm still friends with some of those women to this day. And they're soulmate clients, and it's so joyful to be in your heart-led business and be able to attract those kinds of clients into your business, and to, develop those kinds of relationships with people, and to attract clients who are happy to pay and ready to pay, and sing your praises, because, and they get great results because they're an energetic match for you. So you're not calling in clients who are dragging the heels. And this is what can happen when we are overriding our own boundaries, or we're not in good relationship with our boundaries. We end up attracting clients who always want more. They don't lead themselves. They want you to do the work for them. They're late with their payments. Again, boundaries issue. They expect you to give them concessions when they're late with their payments, because there's some sort of story that they've got. And if you don't, allow the story, then that makes you a bad person. Whereas, we're all trying to pay our bills as well. You wouldn't do that when you go to Argos. Hi, Kat. You wouldn't do that when you go to Argos. You wouldn't say, well, I can't pay this month because of blah, 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 blah. You would pay up. But women especially do this to other women. But that's a whole other story. They don't try it the same with men. And so this is what can happen. Someone can say, oh, well, you don't care about me or my family. And for a woman, hi, darling, for a woman, this is one of the things that gets us the most. And so, we can be terrified of someone making such an accusation that you don't care about what they're... I'm not doing another retreat, guys. Never say never, no. That you don't care about them, but actually it's just maintaining this professional boundary and holding someone else to that standard. And sometimes we don't like it, but this can be the biggest healing of all. And this is also true in our relationships. Some of the relationships that you've had that have dissolved because of your behavior, sometimes it's in these moments where we learn the most, and it's excruciating. It's so painful. It's so horrible to look at. And all we want to do is point the finger and say, yeah, well, you made me, and I said this because of that, and you did this, so I did that. And where actually, if we can be radically responsible and say, regardless of how that person is acting, and yes, they were out of line, how do I want to choose to be in the world? What about my peace for me? Not for anybody else, but because of how I want to hold myself, and how I want to show up in my relationships, in dating and in business, and your soul, dating your soulmate clients. How do I want to handle it? So I hope that was helpful. If you want to if you want to join the Sweet Spot Masterclass, you can just write Sweet Spot below. I will send you the link. It's free. It's 3 days. It's the 24th of June. So we're going to have a separate Facebook group for this, which is just for fempreneurs. It's going to be super juicy and fun. And yeah, we're going to see what else we can uncover over these 3 days. Okay, so I hope to see you on the internet very soon. Have a beautiful day and I love you. Bye.